You can't try to cover up an embarrassing story. What about the Clinton campaign? Remember they had a BIMBO eruption squad?
Oh, yeah.
And their job was to crush the bimbos and to get affidavits from them. It's just...
Merchan said in one of his orders, he said, this pattern of attacking family members of presiding jurists and attorneys assigned to the case serves no legitimate purpose. So he's justifying the gag. Well, doesn't go both ways, though, right? I mean, for the people attacking Trump.
Yeah, let's get this straight. We have this key witness, Michael Cohen, who is a convicted perjurer and a disbarred attorney making money trashing Trump. We have the top prosecutor, Matthew Colangelo, deployed from the number 3 office in the Biden Justice Department. You have the judge's adult daughter, Lauren Merchan, making millions, raising millions off of this criminal trial, requiring the judge's recusal under New York statute. And you have a Manhattan jury pool that voted 87% for Joe Biden. But if President Trump or his campaign points out any of these facts, Judge Juan Merchan, this Democrat judge who donated to Biden, is threatening to put Trump in prison.
I mean, there was a fairly tense exchange earlier today between one of Trump's attorneys and the judge, apparently, when he was asked to clarify the gag order. Judge Merchan said he understands there is a political campaign, but there's also a criminal trial, and that there's no ambiguity in the gag order, telling the defense, if there is doubt, just steer clear. But when the defense then tried to bring up another point, Merchan apparently cut her off and said, I'm not going to go arguing with you. So does this, I don't know, does this sound like a normal kind of back and forth in the courtroom today over this?
There's nothing normal about this case in any way, and this judge is remarkably thin-skinned. And as we've spoken about before, I don't think there's any question that this order, this gag order, is overbroad, and the parts that are overbroad violate the First Amendment. And I also think the judge's comments about it not being ambiguous are clearly wrong. When you read that order, it can be interpreted very broadly regarding what Trump can and can't say about, as Mike pointed out, the very relevant fact that the judge should have recused himself because his daughter is basically somebody who runs Democratic ads for Adam Schiff and other people and makes millions of dollars. And there is a very solid argument that he should recuse himself. And the idea that Trump can't even talk about the judge's daughter as part of the recusal issue is just shocking to me. And remember, the charge is falsification of business records, which is a misdemeanor unless you're trying to cover up another crime. The crime allegedly that Trump and company were trying to cover up was election fraud or election interference. And it's just not there. You're talking about conduct that is a basic part of the American political tradition. Under this test, every candidate for every party for president in the last 100 years would be guilty. You can't try to cover up an embarrassing story. What about the Clinton campaign? Remember they had a BIMBO eruption squad?
Oh, yeah.
And their job was to crush the bimbos and to get affidavits from them. Ken Starr is one mistake away from having his kneecaps busted. That was what Jim Carville said.
On Tuesday, Judge Merchan held Donald Trump in contempt of court and fined him $9 grand for violating a gag order. Trump should have reached into his wallet, grabbed the $9,000 in cash, and thrown it at the judge and said, "Here, go bang Stormy Daniels 8 times." It's funny. A city that can't keep violent felons in jail wants to lock up a president for talking. Meanwhile, Judge Merchan's daughter, Lauren, a progressive political hack, is sending out solicitations invoking the Trump trial, raising millions for her clients. Among them, Adam Schiff, lead prosecutor in Trump's first impeachment, who will hopefully use the money for a neck transplant. So Trump's not allowed to talk. How did he react? Is the gag order unique, unconstitutional, corrupt?
This gag order is not only unique, it's totally unconstitutional. This is a corrupt system we're in. And I think the people are understanding it.
And they are understanding it. Now, as anyone with a pulse knows, and that's not you, Joe Biden, trying to gag Trump is like trying to put a cork in Mount Vesuvius. It's not happening. Because isn't it nice to have a president who doesn't need a teleprompter?
But isn't it nice to have a president who doesn't need a teleprompter? Not that he can read it anyway. He can't read it. Now, think if I read my teleprompter and I'm going, well, let's see, because of the weakness in the economy, I'd like to apologize. Pause. 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 What was that? That's unbelievable. Pause.
And of course, every one of these fake cases is bull.
Every one of these fake cases is bullshit.
He said it. But for Donald Trump, this bull is gold. Because despite the legal farce, Trump's cracking jokes and living his best life. And Joe, while Trump mocks Joe for saying pause, Joe seems permanently stuck on pause.
Connecting with black-owned media outlets. I speak to over 6 million people every day. And we've been trying to catch up with you, and I've had talks with the vice president, but whenever you're out there, we want to talk to you. Because I feel like, I don't know, I got your back. I'm just trying to, like...
President Biden.
That's amazing. Now, let's have a look at the people the judge hasn't silenced, like Stormy Daniels. Usually when she opens her mouth, it only affects 5 dudes in a motel room with a camcorder. But these days, Stormy's not taking things lying down. She posted this on the social media platform X, quote, "Sad day when a stripper is more honest than the former impeached indicted president." Wait, is she saying that strippers aren't usually honest?
What?
I know. And that dancer at Rump Shakers was lying to me when she said it was just a bug bite. Oh. Then after being called a toilet, she tweeted that this made her the best person to flush the orange turd down. I hope toilets don't sue for defamation. Remember, she's a major prosecution witness. Isn't she prejudicing the case? Usually when Stormy tries to abuse and humiliate someone, she gets $500 an hour. At least that's what she charged Ducey. But she's probably still pissed that Trump once called her horse face. True, she was so mad after that tweet, she barely touched her bag of oats. Man. Then there's Trump's sleazy former lawyer, Michael Cohen, who's now as popular with the left as Hamas. To call this guy a liar is like calling Hitler a bit moody. Now, remember, this is the guy who actually advised Trump on how to structure the payments to Stormy instead of her usual method of just leaving $40 on the dresser. Now he blames Trump for the work that he did, which is like a patient getting prescribed the wrong medicine, but then getting sued by the hospital. Cohen's disbarred from practicing law and a convicted perjurer, which makes him a liar by definition. He'd previously been trashing Trump on X, but then swore he would cease posting out of respect to the court. But just days later, Cohen took his clown show over to TikTok to try to make a few bucks. We got a convicted perjurer as the main witness, one who supplied the advice the case is based on. We have a former porn star who lost her own case against Trump so badly she had to pay him legal fees and promise his grandkids 10 years of free pony rides. They're allowed to speak, but the accused, a former president of the United States, can't. This case is as rigged as Jesse's hair. And you want fair? The Gutfeld investigative team actually got hold of a shot of the jury. So all these cases did for Trump was make him a better version of Trump. Who knew the courtroom would lead to a Trump boom? The trials are spinach to Trump's Popeye. So what do the Dems do now? They have nothing to run on, and every time they use lawfare, it backfires. No wonder they hired Steven Spielberg. Biden is lost in the Twilight Zone, and Trump, well, he's Jaws. They better bring a bigger boat.
God bless the USA and God bless newswars.ai that's been brutally censored by not only shit talk, but by American companies such as Gulag, fascist book with Twitler and other freedom-hating fascist companies.
It's about dialing for corporate dollars.
I'm AI Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Fuck the fake news. Wake the woke, wake up America. It's not about the left or the right, but what is right and what is wrong. Tune into newswars.ai. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building.